All right, folks, we are in. This is Paragon RG, and we are spectating a bunch of matches, mostly Beasty matches. We're really just looking for top-level matches and players that have not hidden their match history. So in this game, we have Beasty on the west side in the blue, playing as the Delhi Sultan. And we are keeping an eye on Delhi and how to play them successfully post-patch, where they have been nerfed. Maybe some things have been fixed. I don't think many things, but mostly their Sanctity tech, which lets them capture sacred sites earlier than normal, has been pushed from the Dark Age to the Feudal Age, which completely changes the way that they're played. So, trying to find a new way that they can be played and spectating games in the meantime. On the east side of the map, which is King of the Hill, by the way, we'll take a look at that in a second. Capoch is playing as the English. He's a famous Argentinian Age of Empires 2 player, was active in the game as early as early 2000s, 2002. Very, very good player, able to learn games really quickly. I am a fan of this guy. He's very professional. I like the way that he does things and how he treats his professional game playing as a business. Much respect from me to him. So he's playing as the English in the red, and looks pretty straightforward. We see a couple of villagers on gold, the rest on food, so that scout will have to get back with some more sheep soon to keep that going. It's getting onto wood now, so nothing too crazy out of the English player. We'll probably see a council hall go up in the next minute or so. In fact, he's actually almost has the resources he needs, so that'll be in the next 30 seconds or so. On the other side, we see Beasty going up with efficient production. This is pretty much a no-brainer at this point, considering that Piety takes 10 minutes, which is completely outrageous, and this takes 4.5 minutes. And efficient production is just really good. I mean, being able to boost, choose a military building and boost how quickly it produces by 100%, that's double, is a rather big deal. So chipping away at that research, he's got the economic research coming in as well. We see wheelbarrow more than halfway complete. Now, this is King of the Hill. Now, I think this is a pretty favorable map generation for Beasty. Look how close the sacred site is for him. He's building a tower there already. I mean, think about if it was the other way around. That villager wouldn't have started this tower yet, and his opponent could potentially jump on it with a scout and stop it from being made or something like that. Definitely an advantage. That being said, I don't think it's the end of the world, but he will be able to... his opponent will hopefully realize that. Let's take a quick look at what his opponent has seen. And he has scouted the sacred site. You just can't see that since it's a bug relating to spectating, watching replays. So he has seen the sacred site, and he knows how close it is to the Delhi player, and he knows Delhi loves sacred sites. So I would hope to see some sort of pressure on this thing to try to stop Beasty from getting it. So Beasty choosing to put an outpost. That's 100 wood to do that, which obviously will slow him down, but in the long run, he figures it'll help me keep it. And if the scholar walks out here to take it, now he has somewhere to walk into, and you can fire arrows out of it. The council hall has just finished from Capoch, as expected. Longbow production has begun, and man, these things produce so fast. 7 seconds. No additional bonuses there. That's just 7-second production. So I mean, how many of those can you make in a minute? 14, 28, 8, almost 9. Yeah, that's a ton of resources per minute going into this. So you can see why people say longbow rushes can be considered all in, because so much of their economy is just going into producing them. On the other hand, it is just really efficient. They are really good units, and he's going to use those to assert some dominance or at least presence in the middle of the map. That being said, if Beasty doesn't have... So Beasty does have an outpost here, but without any upgrades, this thing doesn't shoot. And so there's no reason why Capoch can't just sit some archers on here and prevent Beasty. So Beasty does need to get a unit there for that tower to do anything at all. If Capoch is able to just snipe any unit that's trying to walk to the tower, it's just really not that useful. Blacksmith and Stable coming down from Beasty. So probably he'll pop a Scholar into here, double its production speed, and I'm not sure if the plan is to make scouts or what he is after. Yeah, horsemen are coming in. Scholar is going there now, so you'll see these things produce normally 22 seconds down to 11. So very nice from him, and this will let him very quickly get the mass he needs to defend himself against the longbows. And you can see they're being produced. Are they? Yeah, they're being produced directly into the middle of the map. Fortunately, they don't path directly over that chasm with all of their deaths. Okay, so Beasty did a smart play here, and he did finally pop his single scout into this outpost. So this means that this area is just a whole lot less safer now for the longbows of Capoch. And so he's going to have to find another way. He's looping around, hitting from behind. Now Beasty's force is quite mobile. He has horsemen. And in fact, it shouldn't need many horsemen to take out 5 longbows. So I think Capoch needs to be careful of overextending. That's just a scout down here. 3 horsemen hopping on the longbows. Yeah, one down already. So these longbows going down. This is a great pickoff for Beasty, and if he, not worth taking out that longbow at the cost of losing some horsemen. And remember, in this game, horsemen can also pop into towers, so they won't heal there, but they will shoot more arrows from there. Interesting thing there is that spearmen counter horsemen, but they certainly don't counter them when the horsemen are inside of the tower. So it's actually a nice little way to sort of invert that counter chart, and all of a sudden your horsemen are a lot more effective. Another outpost going down. So are we going to see more horsemen and more outposts from Beasty? Sanctity still has 56 seconds left, but he'll be popping out a Scholar. This one could even head over now, given that it's idle as it stands. Horseman is chasing down the scout of Capoch in the middle of the map. Nice mass here. 9 longbows, 7 spearmen from Capoch. Definitely hard to jump on this with only horsemen. Beasty's game plan is going to be to try to force the issue around this. And you can see he's now building walls. So this is his safe place. This is his happy place. He'll pop out when he needs to, and he'll try to pick off some archers. But, with the spearmen here, he'll only get so much done. So I think he needs to be careful about some kind of all-in. Capoch could potentially... That Scholar going down from Beasty, that's a 75 gold loss, and that means he's getting to the sacred site that much slower. He's got to keep these Scholars alive. And he does. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so those arrows hit him even though he was garrisoned, and so he actually lost one of those 2 Scholars. So definitely not good there from him. Rather, not ideal there for him, but excellent play by Capoch, targeting those down as quickly as he could. So far, Beasty's game plan of making it about this has failed, in part because he doesn't have the sacred site. Now, he will be taking it here. Where are those horsemen? Okay, so the horsemen have popped out. Like how he just garrisons them wherever he needs them. Did he lose a bunch? He may have lost more than I was aware of. Military from him is 14. Okay, here they are. I did not see them out and about on the map, so I just wanted to keep an eye on them. So he definitely wants to Yeah, he'll just garrison them here. And drive away these spearmen, make their life quite a bit more difficult. Sacred Site is captured. So one thing to note is even without the victory condition, so keep an eye as about 10 minutes, or just a bit before 10 minutes, this Sacred Site was captured. So if you can hold on to this thing for 10 more minutes, then Beasty will win the game. And in the meantime, he's generating 200 gold per minute. So very nice. And this, remember, is before anyone is able to grab any relics. Take a quick look at the economy. Beasty sitting at 35 villagers, and Capoch at 35 as well. But the 200 gold per minute acts as something like 4 to 5 villagers. So Beasty does have a nice little economic advantage. Now, at least, the momentum is in his favor. We see arrow slits coming in. So both of these towers now, I can't see on this one, unfortunately. But both these towers now having arrow slits. I believe you can see the shape. That little cross there are the arrow slits. And those will make Capoch's life quite a bit more difficult. This thing can certainly still be ram pushed. So let's keep an eye on the blacksmith situation. And we do see siege engineering coming in right now from Capoch. Give me 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Here we go, just topping up on water. So, siege engineering is almost in here. So Capoch will make some rams. I'm not sure where. I mean, I don't know if he wants to push this directly. The fact that, as well, that this is close to Beasty's base means it can be reinforced really easily in either direction. I was more thinking in going to the Sacred Site. But if he has a bunch of troops here, he can bring them home as well. So Capoch will have a hard time just ignoring the Sacred Site and destroying Beasty's base. We can see this was upgraded to a stone tower here. So this thing, now 2,000 hit points, has 5 fire armor as well. So it's much more difficult to just jump on and take down with spearmen, for example. And, will take twice as long for rams to take it down with its 2,000 hit points. More towers going up for Beasty. So, even before the patch, maybe especially before the patch, Delhi players have had success making the game about the Sacred Site. So here come the rams now. And you'll see doing so little damage to those rams here. He may hope... Oh, I was not keeping an eye on that. I wonder if he'll get a springled emplacement on one of these towers to help take out the rams. Springled. He started this and stopped it. Okay, so this one becoming a stone tower. Trying to keep these things alive for as long as possible. We'll have to keep an eye on his troop movements. So we know there's horsemen in here. 5 horsemen in here. 1 scout in here. So one nice thing is his opponent doesn't actually know what's inside of there. Still, I don't see a way that these rams are going to go down. The good news is they are taking a forever to take out this tower, and he's going to try to repair it. So he'll lose villagers for that. That's a real cost. And we see Hardened Spear now running up. They may take down this tower if it is not upgraded. I don't see any springled placements. First tower going down here. Now, Capoch is in the Castle Age, so keep coming down from him just behind all this. And his opponent can't easily get through here. His Longbowmen will try to park here and take out as many villagers as they can. So Beasty is going to lose, more villagers here. But it looks like this keep will go down. And that's going to make this a lot more difficult for Capoch. That being said, he does have rams, right? So he does have the tools for the job. And I wouldn't be surprised if he, starts another ram right over here. He doesn't quite have the resources for it, though. So Ram's moving right along. We'll see if they go for the tower or the castle. Capoch has done a really nice job with what he had. Just had to research siege engineering and add a couple of rams, and with a well-controlled push was able to drive his opponent right off the sacred site. So that timer has been reset. That gold income is no more. That being said, Beasty will be rubbing his hands and trying to figure out a way to get that gold income back. Love these walls by Beasty. It's just such a small wall segment that just keeps his opponent away from that area. I like that a lot. So this keeps doing a pretty nice job. Keep in mind, though, that it's not going to do much damage against the rams. Now, I have heard that keeps are now able to be retargeted. So it would be nice... There it goes. Now targeting the archers. That might seem like a small change, but it makes a big difference to this game. If these archers can't camp under this castle, then his opponent can take out the rams. And if they do camp here, then with the right control, just targeting his units appropriately. It says, oh, it said there were 10 for a minute. Okay. They popped out to try to kill a ram. They'll pop back in. They'll try to shoot units like the longbows, chip down at his opponent's buildings. Now, of course, he's probably lost some villagers. So 41 for him, 49 for his opponent. So this has been a cost for Beasty. The actual cost of the castle would have been 800 unless he went up with the other landmark. And he did. He went up with Compound of the Defender. I've seen him do this in one other game, and it means he gets this castle for 200 less stone. So 600 instead of 800, which is pretty cool. So you can also imagine putting down maybe a second keep. So 1200 for 2 keeps, you know, instead of 800 for 1. So very cool from him, but definitely losing a lot of villagers trying to keep this thing up. It could still be... Ooh, I didn't see the mangonel. This is going to make it much more difficult for Capoch to hang out in this area and to keep killing his villagers that are repairing the keep. Insufficient wood. Will he buy more in time? No, he's going to try to take out the rams. No, he's just going to try to retreat. So, for all this work, keep in mind that this thing is 600 stone. That's it. Yes, that's a lot. But you have to keep in mind, how many units are you losing to take it? How many units are you losing to keep it up? So, you know, you have to make that analysis. You don't want to blindly push keeps. I think in this sense it made a lot... in this case, rather, it made a lot of sense. Capoch had just pushed out of the middle and continued his push into here. So very little time was wasted on his end. And he does have some more momentum now. Meanwhile, the rest of his army, damaged as they are going to move out and about on the map and try to cause some problems. You have to wonder if... Yeah, good line of sight by this unit here, but... Yeah. So, unless Capoch doesn't see the Scholar... Oh, the Scholar gets away. That's you know, unlucky. Lucky for Beasty. Let's put it that way. The Capoch did not notice that. So he'll grab this relic here. Who knows, maybe he'll be killed on the way back. Let's take a quick look around. Actually, before we do... I think I just saw the men-at-arms using the sprint ability. I'm not positive, but we'll have to keep an eye on men-at-arms using the... I believe it's called Forced March. We don't see it a lot, but it is really useful for jumping on top of enemy siege, as well as, in this case, yeah, if you know your opponent's going to be sort of scooting and shooting, why not just make a mad dash toward them? Maybe even just sort of past them, and then attack. And then as soon as you attack, I believe the ability wears off, or within 10 seconds, whichever comes first. Mangonel is here. Will help to drive longbows away from this area. I think this is a really good play. This is a fairly... I mean, mangonels are expensive, but this is a fairly minimal force, and Capoch will have a hard time taking this thing down, and he even has a villager hopefully to repair that mangonel. So Men-at-Arms plus mangonel is pretty effective against what Capoch has. Now he does have early Men-at-Arms, which is something I wasn't looking at closely earlier. And he is producing them pretty actively. So let's take a look at Capoch's base. We see his army moving down on the minimap. We'll keep an eye on that. So barracks here. Yeah, so barracks pumping out Men-at-Arms. And there is a Wololo trying to be cheeky, keep his scholar alive a little longer, or take a scout. Okay, so this army has paused while they are healing there. Rams sort of moving around, not too sure where they're going. I think it might make sense to get in the Rams, and then you can't be damaged by the mangonel. We'll look more at Capoch's base in a minute, but I want to make sure that we don't miss this battle. And I think that Scholar will get home safely. Scouts don't really do that much damage. Capoch pushing nicely up to the edge of Beasty's base. And he already has the Rams, right? I would even love to see these things repaired. You can start chipping away at buildings like the mill, mining camp, barracks, and in fact, yeah, if you can loop behind here, you don't necessarily need to be too close to the town center, but taking out their production will hurt quite a lot. Quite a lot indeed. Lots of Men-at-Arms being produced from Beasty. Yeah. 3 Men-at-Arms being simultaneously produced. So taking these out will be a major hindrance to his production, and that one doesn't actually make it out. Pretty good mass of Men-at-Arms building here. Pretty good mass. More Rams coming up. I don't mind Beasty's position here. I think he should be able to push out. He builds a barracks here. I think this is a risky spot to do it. But he probably thinks he can deal with these Rams just fine with what he has. You see, he does have forced march, so we may see him use that to jump on Rams or his opponent's military shortly. Pops into this town center. And town center should be able to reacquire targets manually now, so you can click what you attack with them, whereas before they couldn't, which meant that Rams were extremely hard to deal with because you had to shoot at the Ram. Beasty is making the decision to loop up to the north. Now, I'm not sure if he saw what's up here. Okay, his towers provide very good line of sight over this area. So it's possible that Capoch thought he was sneaking around. He did not sneak around. And look at that. You see that sprint? I would like to see that in this direction. But that is forced march. It's actually very cool. So you can see here, he doesn't think he needs to actually chase down and kill his opponent. He's happy to put up a single keep. His opponent has Rams, but they're really far away from this position. That being said, he will still have to do something about this. You can't just ignore Rams in your face. He has one Springald. Okay, Men-at-Arms going to loop around from behind, so they may jump on the... Let's see if they use Forced March. I believe as soon as you even click to attack, Forced March runs its course, but we'll see if we see a speed increase here. Not yet. In the meantime, just going to take out the Rams. So this is the thing with Rams. If you can't... There we go. Look at that. Look how fast they are right now. 2.25 movement speed is what they got up to. So that helps a lot, right? He knows he has the unit mass. He can take out what his opponent has. He's in age 2, and Capoch is still... Sorry, he's in age 3. Capoch is still in age 2. So any battles he wins are a really big deal. Capoch's advantage right now should be army mass and map control. And if he loses that, and maybe economy. Okay, so he just reaches Castle Age. Now, Beasty is at 51 economy. Capoch is at 65. So he does still have that advantage. Beasty is going to do his best to reset this game end timer. So we'll keep a much closer eye. Okay, so look away. 25 minutes. A little over that is what it should be, and that will generate some more gold for him as well. Quite a few Springolds by now as well. These men-at-arms will be upgraded to regular men-at-arms very quickly, if I had to guess. Okay, so, 30, 35, 15, basically. New game end timer. So we see a few men-at-arms running in back here. I actually like that a lot. I mean, it's not a huge drain on your existing force, and if you can idle... I mean, look at that. 7 villagers idled here. Put it this way. If you can idle... So if a villager generates, let's just say 50 resources per minute, if you can idle 10 villagers for 6 seconds, that's a 50 resource drain. Now, of course, if you lose your units, that's a resource drain for you too, but that was an awful lot more than 7 villagers for a lot more than 6 seconds. So nice play from Beasty, just causing general problems. Take a look here. Capoch is doing his best to push through the map, but a wall being thrown up last minute, and I think Capoch sort of ran against it, and with enough Springolds behind it, he won't really want to push into that. So he may very well have the Springold mass he needs now to hold off his opponent. There's 9 Springolds here. Gate going up here as well, and Springolds can shoot through gates for sure. I'm not clear on their ability to actually shoot through wooden palisade. They shouldn't be able to shoot through stone wall. If they do, I believe that is a bug. So yeah, look how fast he's taking out these men-at-arms. These things are paying for themselves very quickly. Outposts going down now inside. So what is Capoch's reaction going to be? It's going to push to the south, it looks like. He'll get through this wall pretty quickly. It's only palisade after all. See how fast torch damage takes that down. And he'll probably loop up and over. He probably doesn't know about this. Says it's scouted, but it may not be scouted recently. Oh, he's coming right for it with his archers. Maybe he's just looping down just to check. This is something top players do so well, is just pop by, and they have the presence of mind to, like, if I pop by, I'd forget about my units, and then I would attack with this, and then I would lose, and be like, what happened? Well, you attacked with half your force. So he goes this way, kills a bunch of villagers, causes a bunch of idle time, draws his whole opponent's military. These guys can cause more problems in the meantime, and he'll retreat. He may not be able to get back out through here. Beasty will block this off, but he can still bust out through another palisade. Okay, so a few minutes have gone by already. This is still looking pretty secure. More gates coming up from Beasty. He wants really easy access to this thing. And look at the stone wall going up. Yeah, I mean, I love this. The fact that he's compounded the defender as well means the stone wall is even cheaper. Big battle here. I did miss the start of it, but you can see the longbows of Capoch getting jumped on. They actually look faster than these men-at-arms. What's that about? That's odd. There must be an upgrade missing on these men-at-arms. I think they should be faster than this. One way or another, though, those longbowmen will go down eventually. The men-at-arms going down here as well. So really nice cleanup. Some units up here, but Beasty does have the Springold mass, and these Springolds are not long for this world if they don't get out of dodge. Men-at-arms coming up. I don't think this is a good play. These men-at-arms will just get taken down. So wasteful, unfortunately, from Capoch. May not have realized just how many Springolds were there. Longbow is going to be causing any problems they can. Another siege workshop being put up. I say another because, yes, there must be one pumping out Springold somewhere. We've seen enough of them this game. Now, no elephants this game, but it's true that we're not seeing elephants, I think, in most deadly games. And when we do see them from good players, we usually see them in only you know, in moderation, right? They're used as a I've heard the term from the Warhammer world, a distraction burn effects, like basically like a big monster that draws people's attention, but doesn't necessarily have the DPS that you might think it does, and so it mostly tanks while the rest of your army gets the job done. Capoch once again pushing toward the south. More minutes have passed. He has only 5 minutes to take this thing back. By now, I'm sure he knows there's stone wall here. Now he can push in from this side. He will have to go through 2 layers of wall. I wouldn't be surprised to see... Oh, look at that. Yeah, replacing it with stone. Oh, a keep. Another keep. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's so close, right? It's 2.5... Did I get that right? It should be 2.5 minutes away. Yeah, guard this thing. And it looks like he can. I mean, he's not behind. He has a ridiculous... He's 20 Springles. 20. I cannot wait for the Springled nerf. Because I don't want to see this many Springles in the game. This is a bit ridiculous and must be very frustrating to push into. These men-at-arms trying to get here, but the stone wall was begun, even if it didn't look like it. It was begun, and this has now been replaced with stone and a gate coming up. I think players will reconsider adding gates because someone can bring a siege tower, drop off their units, and because of the gate, they can actually unload on the other side. So I don't know that, you know, I doubt that will come into play in this game. But gates and towers do provide a way up and down onto the wall, and so that's something, definitely something to consider. I'm sure we'll see some clever siege tower usage from top players soon. For example, in a recent game with Marine Lord versus Kashva, we saw Kashva play as Delhi and wall off with stone really early, and he tried to build a gate. Marine Lord stopped him from doing that, but I think he could consider not stopping him from doing that, and then just letting him have a gate, and then just unloading a bunch of troops onto it and walking off. I mean, gates don't shoot, right? There's nothing stopping you from that. Anyway, enough of my musings. Big battle here. I think this is a massive win for blue. The scouts can't get to where they need to go. They're blocked by men-at-arms. There will be gaps here eventually, but there are so many Springolds that the red troops are just going to go down. There's no two ways about it. This is not enough scouts to take out that many Springolds, and he's even doing some kiting, try to make sure he slows down that process. 3 scouts left, 2 scouts, and they're gone. And this army has been pretty much cleared up. So that's a route. I don't see, you know, Capoch should have something pretty clever up his sleeve. I mean, he'd almost need cannons, and he's just not in the Imperial Age. That being said, his hand has been forced. Did I get this wrong? Right, it's 35, not 33. So when I said 2.5 minutes, I guess I meant 4.5 minutes. Nevertheless, it is now less than 2 minutes away, and Beasty is sitting here with a horrific 23 Springolds. So good luck, and here's the 24th. Good luck taking that back. Don't see that happening anytime soon. Rams and Trebs being built by Capoch. He's doing anything he can here. I'm not sure how good Trebs are at taking out Springolds. They certainly do a lot of damage. So he's going to try to take out the gate. Yeah, 150 damage. I mean, in theory, a couple shots takes out a Springold, but they do shoot slowly. That being said, they outrange Springolds significantly, so wouldn't be surprised to see them used for that in future. I believe unfortunately the English upgrade is bugged, but there is a way to get Springolds. It's like Shattering Shot or something, and in theory, did I say Springolds? A tech for something called Shattering Shot for your trebuchets, which should give them area of effect damage. At this point, though, less than 20 seconds until Beasty wins this game. Capoch's troops are getting annihilated on the front lines. He has to find a way to get onto this thing. And with 4 keeps around it, I believe with some upgrades, I just don't see that happening. So folks, this game is over. Beasty wins another game as the Delhi on King of the Hill against Capoch, who is playing as the English. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Paragon RG, and I will catch you next time.